find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 24th day of March 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads. You're urged to ensure that you observe the rules of the road, and by so doing, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you have celebrated a birthday over the past few days, want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. If you've celebrated a birthday yesterday, like Miss Cindy Crutchley, Miss Emma, Member of Parliament and candidate in the upcoming elections, Miss Barbara Connolly, and our good friend, Miss Phyllis Jensen as well. A lot of you will know her from Jake Scott, customer service over there, one of the best, friendly persons. So they all celebrated birthdays yesterday. We want to wish them belated happy birthday as well. If you know of anyone who's celebrating a birthday today, just send us a WhatsApp message, and at some point during the course of the show, we will mention it as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. And we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memory of your loved ones will also be a blessing to you. For those who may be ill, either resting at home or in a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well, and hope and we trust that you are comforted during your illness also. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. The radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, is waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow, that toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Based on our schedule, we do expect to have one of the candidates in the upcoming April 14th general elections in the studio with us. Until then, I will do my best to keep you occupied. And I did receive an email message from one of our listeners on Monday, and I was unable to share that with you, and I will seek to share that with you now. And it has basically to do with the person's concern about candidates and their qualifications. Of course, qualifications to be a member of our parliament are laid out in our constitution. But other than that, the voters also may have views about the type of candidate that they would want to see, and that isn't necessarily spelled out in our constitution. So one of our listeners wrote and said, for any job advertised in Cayman, there's always a list of qualifications and experience required, and on top of that, you're shortlisted. If you're shortlisted, you also have to take a test. So the person says, my question is, why isn't there a list of qualifications and experience required for the highest paid jobs of running our country? The person says, in my opinion, the same way we all have to be qualified and apply for jobs and only get interviewed if we are shortlisted, the candidates running for elections should be treated the same way, because a lot of them would not even be shortlisted, in my view. So that's that person's experience, and I will make some comments on that as soon as I'm able to. But meantime, we do have a caller, so we're going to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Murphy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. We had Flo show up yesterday to reconnect the fiber, so as I will call and convene, I will also call and come back to see the outcome. So we're hoping that gets started today.
Excellent, excellent. Even though it took a long time for them to do it.
5 weeks. This is going into the 6th week, but anyway, I'm grateful that they're coming back to sort of. So what I want to just mention is, I heard on the news this morning on another radio station, but news nonetheless, that there is this development down, I guess it would be near to the yacht club, where that big sort of thing near the Kimpton. And he wants to do this huge development, and in addition to that development, it's a love for a canal to be created that passes underneath this bridge all the way to the beach side.
Yes.
I just have to sit back and just wonder if that's really something that we should be doing. If the Lord intended for this island to be split that much into, to have that whole thing open. I think there's a reason that this island has been and was created the way it is, with all the provisions of the mangroves. And I mean, we have that elongated neck going up towards West Bay Road, but really, is it necessary now for us to engage in any further breakage of that land in terms of putting in more canal water? What do they think will happen?
I agree.
Well, I mean, we know what happens when the nor'westers and all the other westers and hurricanes come, and the shifting of sand, and we watch what happened from 30 years ago when my father was principal secretary, and he objected then to them pushing back the high water mark, and they pushed it back nonetheless, and then the Marriott came in and put their beautiful wall down, and now they have no lease.
Yep.
And the story goes on. So what do they think is going to happen if they allow that trenching to go on? I mean, I understand development, but I really becoming fairly concerned for the type of development that we're pushing. I mean, who is the market for?
Yeah, we have obviously forgotten very quickly about Hurricane Ivan and what happened then, and we saw what happened in the Red Bay area, where the waters from the North Sound met with the waters from South Sound. Right?
I just don't understand, because water connects with water. I mean, it's like as if it doesn't have its own metallic sort of connection. And I know that isn't the way it works, but if you wanted to just give an analogy. But I mean, every time they do these developments, so there was another development somewhere, I don't know, going up towards Prospect area. There's another development that's going down, and it's talking about, oh, come and get an apartment. It's 800 square feet. It's $325,000 for a 1-bedroom.
Wow.
The 2 bedrooms are $400,000. Come, you can live here. We have all of these amenities, and then we're close to schools. We are close to shopping centers. And I said, hold on a minute. You are not close to schools in terms that the schools you are close to are already at capacity. So if you are advertising that you are accessing schools and the planning isn't putting in the requirement that schools have to be created every time they do a development, how does this become sustainable? There is no way this can be sustainable. We're running primary schools now with 3 tiers of classes in some primary schools. When I say that, I mean we got 3-year, 1 3-year, 2 3-year fees. Okay, that is a lot of students. What we've done is, because we've built out parts of Georgetown, people have shifted from Georgetown, and most of them have gone to the Prospect area, maybe Newland. So they generally don't want to go any further up just because they're from the town area.
Right.
And then you've got people that have shifted again. And every time you shift those people, you shift the children to a different school. And I don't know what to say, because I feel like when I lived in Tampa for 9 months during my cancer treatment and all of the stuff that I went through, and I would have been 18. One of the things that I was impressed with was every time they put down these developments and they created these areas that had homes and stuff, there were schools, there was supermarkets, there were clinics that came within that whole development. But we don't do that here. Look at Linford Pearson. Should have another school built on Linford Pearson if we are pushing the type of development I've seen happen, which is parallel to Crew Road and parallel to South Sound, which
exactly.
is developed.
Yeah.
Where is the school, and how come we not have the provisions to accommodate the type of development? How is this going to be sustainable?
Caller, one wonders whether or not this whole idea that has been bantered around about a population of 100,000, whether or not they're trying to achieve that through the back door. And what I mean by that is, we build all of these apartments, we have them there, we don't necessarily have the population to support them now, and then the pressure is brought on to government. Well, we have all of these existing apartments and condos here that are going empty. Why don't we relax even more our immigration policies and allow more people to reside here? They're going to do it. They're trying to do it through the back door.
I realize that, but we don't have sustainable pricing to accommodate those apartments.
No, we don't.
And we don't have Caymanians actually getting those. I know Caymanians seem to be qualifying for a few down in the West Bay End. I can't remember the name of it, but the majority are not buying the $400,000 and $500,000 apartment. We have young people who are now married, young children. They're in their 30s. They're not buying the $500,000 apartment. How would they, even if they could qualify for $300,000? How can they push their little tiny family into a 1-bedroom, 700 square foot unit and then be happy because they've got a pool and perhaps a court? I mean, I realize that we don't have the land space left because a lot of foreign investment has caused that. And so therefore we don't have the ability to offer every Caymanian family a quarter acre of land to build their ideal percent home. That's just not something we have. And so we have a need for the apartment. But really, do we have a need for one 700 square foot apartment? Is that the need?
Yep.
Does that actually suffice the need of the housing that we have?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that we have the right correlation. And I just don't know when we're going to hold our hands up and say, hold on a minute, who is buying? So let's go back and look at how many people have bought apartments over the last 12 months. Because I've never seen anything like this.
Yep.
Are they foreign investors? Are they Caymanians? Are they PR holders? Who is it that's buying?
Mm-hmm.
And if they are investment, it means they're looking for people to rent those in the long term. But they're going to sit, most of them are going to sit unoccupied. Because I don't see how Cayman, if we can't control 400 cars per month being imported, how are we going to sustain anything else when we can't even control import?
Exactly.
And we haven't built any new schools, and we're popping at the seams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to criticize the government. I am here to say, as a community, we all are participating in this because there are Caymanians who are promoting this, who are an upper echelon of society, who have the ability to promote these developments. We've got real estate persons who are also driving this because they're driving the prices up, because what they do is they push these prices, and then when you have these evaluations come in, you have these comparable amounts that say, oh, well, we sold an apartment in this area, in this area, cost $300,000, so given that and given this, we value the property back here.
Yep.
And 1 year ago, go back and see how much apartments were worth and what they were selling for.
Good.
They weren't selling for this.
Caller, sorry I have to interrupt you there. We have to go to a commercial break, but I want to thank you very much for your comments there, and they're certainly relevant, and those are issues that need to be addressed. I believe we have 2 callers on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will take those 2 callers as well, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Harold A. J. Bodden, Certificate of Honor, 1931 to 2014.
J. Bodden contributed to the building of the country literally by paving roads and providing material for homes and office buildings. Among the major projects on which his first company, a heavy equipment firm, worked are Cayman Turtle Farm, Governor's Harbor, Snug Harbor, and Lime Tree Bay. Jay and his brother Hubert own Island Paving Limited, which has carried out such notable work as the runway, taxiway, and apron rehabilitation projects at both Owen Roberts International Airport and Gerard Smith International Airport on Cayman Brac. With his 2 brothers, he donated a parcel of land near Petro St. James to be used as a playground for the Savannah Newlands community. J. Bodden took pride in volunteering to help keep Cayman clean. He married Mary Diane Nee Henderson, with whom he had 4 daughters and a son who is now deceased.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The black tie affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings, Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. We do have 2 callers on hold, and we have 7 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. So 3.5 minutes for each caller. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
Not bad, and you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks.
I want to call the second callers that came up just now. That was that lady caller that was talking about the apartments, the development, and everything. Who are we developing for? Because I want to bring to the people's attention. We want to look at the 7 Mile Beach, and we always get this joke. They always say that West Bears need to stand up for 7 Mile Beach. But remember, everybody uses the 7 Mile Beach. Every Caymanian, it's West Bears mostly goes Barkers camping. We don't go 7 Mile Beach, so but we love our 7 Mile Beach. And Mr. Bill Adams has a petition online to go to Cayman Beach Watch. Need some signatures because we need to do to this what we did to the CPR. If we don't speak up and stand up, not just speak up, we need to put our handwriting, be behind it, and push for it. We're going to get the 7 Mile Beach right where the Kaboo used to be, where they had the festival Kaboo. We were made to understand that there are already plans in place to cut that road right in half under that bridge to open up so they can get access from the public beach toward the North Sound. Now, if they do that, we're going to get the same mess that the port will give us destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. The North Sound has, and not black water, but it comes from the mangroves that they die from the trees. That might be so hard. But of course, it water, like she said, one water connects the next one. So once you open it, that's it. So we're calling on people to please go online to Cayman Beach Watch and please sign our petition. We are going to try and get it out to the public as in a paper form. We're trying to get that arranged, and we're having a meeting tonight at the Papagayo regarding its West Bay Action Committee. But we're calling on all Caymanians to come out, because if we don't stand up, we're going to be destroyed. And they're not taking it just from West Bayers. So we don't want to remind them that they're just saying West Bay, taking from Caymanians.
And if we say we're proud Caymanians, we need to all stand together. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. And you do the same, caller, as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, my friend. Listen, my mind was just triggered just now with that caller. I know her name, but I forgot about the trench, what I call the trench under the Westway Bridge there, that canal. You know, I really think that the Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum debates, as you call them, is really doing a little disservice to the people of each constituency, because I think we are using, some people are using that as an excuse not to approach their candidates in their own constituency and question them firmly and seriously as to various issues that pertains not only to their district but to the Cayman Islands as a whole. Now, if that trench that I was told about yesterday and I heard it on the radio this morning, so it's been confirmed by more than one person, if that is done, that is something that we have to question each candidate out there who is running, if they would be supporting that. Because that would be the detriment of the entire Cayman Islands. If we have another island, the island will never recover from that canal, because that will breach the North Sound into the 7 Mile Beach.
Right.
And you'll have flooding tidal waves that we've never seen before. And we have to question the candidates if they're really for this 100,000 population. I mean, I think that this is one election that I can tell you that it's hard to read the tea leaves, because nobody's really asking. There's no forum town hall meetings that I can see that really people are having a chance to ask direct questions to their candidates.
Yeah, I don't understand though that there are some groups who are actually, they may be informal groups, but people of like mind, similar ages and stuff like that are requesting candidates to come and talk to them, and also to question them about their views on certain things. So that is taking place even if it's in an informal setting.
Right. Well, I would implore, using what you just said, I would implore the entire island, island-wide, get to know the candidates and the ones that you have an eye on. In fact, I would invite them all. I would approach them all, because we need to know these pertinent answers to these questions. 100,000, are you for that? Are you for the West Bay Trench under the bridge? Cost of living is going through the roof. I had an office space that I was looking at in December to move into. I'm currently working from home. I used to work in an office, then I moved back to home, and now I'm working an office space again. But something that I was looking for in December for $1,000 a month is now $2,200, and this is March. So I mean, prices are just skyrocketing. What you also have is cars being imported at a clip by people who are really not Caymanians, but they have a trade license. They get a trade license arranged. We have car rental businesses out there with every Tom, Dick, and Harry renting cars that are really not entitled to do so, bringing in importees from Japan, cheap cars at $2,000 landed or $3,000 landed, having a on-the-spot rent-a-car business with a trade license, and really the island is becoming a free-for-all. It's like the wild, wild west in terms of population growth and development, cost of living, and health insurance. You can't have access to that because of cost. There are some serious issues that you, as a voter, need to get an eyeball-to-eyeball conversation with your candidate and ask them pertinent questions before you put that X, because these issues will affect us greatly in 2021 and going forward. Cost of living is something that affects us all. So, I mean, it's kind of a rambling call, we'll see, but that's because things are moving so fast, you really can't put all your ducks in a row. But the one issue is the trench under the West Bay Canal will be detrimental. We need to know which candidates are for that. We need to know how people are going to address the 100,000 growth, and which candidates are going to be full speed ahead with that. Cost of living, and really schools, the education is needing, but that's being addressed, I think, in the forum. But there are other issues that are really district and national issues that are very important, and I don't think that this season of politicking, those questions are being asked in a serious manner.
Okay, caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there. We have reached the top of the hour. 8 o'clock news, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
This Easter, make it all about the food you and your family love.
Make it about jet fresh seafood and the freshest meat selection.
Make it easy with an Easter family dinner from the deli.
Make it sweet with a custom sweet treat from the bakery.
And make it full of the best cheese from all over the world.
This Easter, make it Foster's. From East End to West Bay, we're the Islands supermarket. For more info, go to fosters.ky.
Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. West Bay North took center stage at the Cayman Islands Chamber Forum Tuesday night. Incumbent Bernie Bush put social and economic challenges as top priority.
We need a government that will invest in us, the Caymanian people. We need a government that will put Caymanians first.
Former Government Minister Rolston Englund has his cap set at the West Bay North seat, outlining a variety of policies which he says will provide a more stable and vibrant future for the people of the Cayman Islands. A key concern?
The rate of unemployment of Caymanians under 24, unacceptable. Cayman is for Caymanians. We're building this country for our young people.
The Chamber forums continue tonight with West Bay West in the hot seat. As of our deadline, only Mario Ebanks had confirmed his willingness to participate in the forum. The incumbent is House Speaker the Honourable Makiva Bush. It's a rapid spread of the Stony coral tissue loss disease in Cayman, and officials with the Department of Environment say disinfecting your dive gear may help slow the transmission.
We're still speculating because we don't know what the pathogen is and exactly how it is transmitting. And once it's on the reef, it can also jump from coral to coral, and it can jump from touch. Possibilities of dive gear, so if you're in an area that's contaminated and then you dive in an area that's not contaminated, you could be spreading it. Or if, not that you would, but if you touched a coral that was diseased and then you went and touched a coral that wasn't diseased, you can transfer it that way.
During a recent water sports and dive operators update, the Department of Environment's Tammy Warrender says they recommend a 1% bleach solution, about half a cup of bleach for every 2 gallons of fresh water, and a soak for 10 minutes.
If you just wash your gear in fresh water, that it won't get rid of viruses and pathogens. So even though we don't know exactly what it is, we think it might be bacterial because of the success with antibiotics, but this is obviously just the best practice we have for getting rid of viruses or bacteria. It's the same sort of standard that I believe you guys actually have to follow for COVID.
There is a slow progression of the disease here in Cayman, and officials say it could be due to efforts in a fire break established by the DOE, the removal of diseased coral and coral fanning. The DOE will continue to monitor the disease. And in other news, John Gray High School retains title as Intersecondary School's sports champions. Radio Cayman's Dion England has the details.
John Gray High School retained its place as Intersecondary School's sports champions after 2 days, March 11th through the 12th, of grueling competition at the Truman Barton Sports Complex. Outstanding performances from 14-year-old Devontae Howell, who won the under-16 boys 100-meter dash in 10.81 seconds and secured gold medals in the under-16 200-meter dash, 400-meter run, the 4x100 and 4x400 relays, helped the school to celebrate another victory. Head of the local organizing committee, Mrs. Gloria Bell, congratulated the school for its victory and lauded the day's performances. Other outstanding performers included Cayman Academy's Mikhail Hall and Raina Smith from Cayman Islands Further Education Center, CIFEC. Mikhail scored 34 points, having won the under-12 400-meter run, the 100-meter dash, and placing second and third in the 200-meter run and boys under-12 local jump, respectively. Raina received gold in the girls under-18 100-meter dash, the 200-meter run, under-18 girls long jump, and the 4x100-meter relay. A handful of homeschoolers, along with students from 13 educational institutions, participated in the well-supported event. The new director of sports, Mr. Kurt Hyde, delivered opening remarks. Local Olympian Kimar Hyman was also on hand to deliver remarks, and Olympian Sadani Mothersil herself. Reporting for Radio Cayman Sports, I'm Dion Anglin.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Harper. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel has cancelled a strict coronavirus lockdown over Easter only a day after it was announced. She said the measure, agreed after marathon talks with state leaders, was impractical. Mrs Merkel apologised for the uncertainty and said the mistake was entirely hers. The 5-day lockdown would have been the harshest Germany had seen. The European Commission has put forward its plans to toughen controls on the export of coronavirus vaccines that are produced in the EU. Senior officials repeatedly denied that they amounted to an export ban. The Commission has been involved in a row with AstraZeneca over the delivery of jabs. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Why work with a Cereba agent? We can tell you that those letters represent a proven understanding of the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. But it also means so much more than that. Our trained Cereba agents are committed to ethics, integrity, and excellence of practice. It's all about confidence, knowing you are working with a qualified Cereba agent. As members of Cereba, your trust is our promise. To find a Cereba agent today or to search thousands of listens, visit Cereba.com. Cereba, the mark of excellence in real estate.
Getting vaccinated is an important part of keeping our islands protected against COVID-19. All persons who are scheduled to be vaccinated must present a photo ID which shows you are legally and ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands or have permission to stay for 6 months or more. Accepted IDs include a Cayman Islands driver's license, passport or voter's card, a global citizen's certificate, a work permit grant letter, extension letter or job letter from a local company, or a non-Caymanian passport which shows the holder has been landed with permission to be on island for 6 months or more. Essential workers must also present their work ID to show proof of employer. Anyone who has already received a first dose may still receive the second and must show their vaccination card. For more information on the vaccine program, visit www.hsa.ky. The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. Compliments of our friends at Pan American Life Insurance. Present temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 86 degrees. Winds are out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Relative humidity 78%. Last night's dew point was at 72. Barometric pressure now at 29.94 and holding it. Light southeasterly winds and slight seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to the slack pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Our forecast for today, beautiful sunny skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Looking at tonight, mainly clear skies with a 20% chance of late night showers. Temperatures will fall to the low 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Presently, the high tide, low tide will be at 1:23 this afternoon and high at 6:56 this evening. For tomorrow, low tide is at 1:14 a.m., high at 7:34 a.m., low at 1:53 p.m., and high at 7:38 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:36. Sunrise for tomorrow is at 6:26. The outlook is for similar weather conditions through Friday morning. That's your latest weather right here on Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, break it down. Once the long-term goals are set, work backwards to set smaller and more manageable goals. These should be specific, measurable, and achievable. For example, study in the library for 1 hour 3 times per week instead of study more. Consider what you need to do daily, weekly, or by the end of the year in order to succeed. Smaller goals allow you to focus on the essential steps today to ensure you are prepared when tomorrow's opportunities become available.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Once again, Cayman, beautiful good morning to you. Let's take a look at the traffic situations right now. Streets in Georgetown, very much busy. Taking a look at Edward Street, northbound traffic, very slow paced and moving. Of course, looking at Shedden Road as well, we got traffic in both directions, moving slow paced, some moderately. And looking at the incoming traffic still off of Huldah Avenue, northbound lane, and very much busy as you make your way onto Elgin Avenue or continue onto Thomas Russell Way and going further north. Of course, getting to the roundabout outside A.L. Thompson's, very much busy as well. Traffic in all directions, especially heading onto Godfrey Nixon Way and heading east. Slow-paced traffic there as well. Of course, the Crichton Boulevard area cleared at the moment, but of course, traffic is built up on the Lidford-Pearson Highway and similar along Crew Road. Slow-paced. If you're going through South Sound, expect that usual traffic as well. Turning up Walker's Road, expect a little bit of flow and then some traffic as you continue to make your way into Georgetown. Similar, North Church Street, South Church Street, West Bay Road also got some busy traffic there as well. So with the influx of traffic, of course, in the Georgetown area, that's to be expected. Of course, it will ease up as the morning progresses. Cayman Brack, Little Cayman, minimal traffic out there as the way it should be. Enjoy your day. Look out for those on foot, bicycles, and motorbikes. Buckle up, stay safe, and don't be on your smartphones while driving. Your traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The black tie affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
Have you been offered new appliances, cash, home repairs, or groceries in exchange for your vote? If so, you are a victim of voter influence. The Anti-Corruption Commission, in connection with the Elections Office, encourages you to take a stand and act against corruption today. As a voter, you should not encourage corruption or tolerate the corruption of others. During this election season, vote responsibly and with integrity. It's time for a change, Cayman. Be that change. For more information, visit the Commission website at anticorruptioncommission.ky. This PSA is endorsed by the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Elections Office.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, but we will be joining Mr. Mario Ebanks by phone this morning for his continued interview on Radio Cayman, all paid time. So we will be accommodating him. Before I go to the phone lines, though, we did have several WhatsApp messages, several emails in relation to topics and issues that were raised by some of our callers previously. And just to let you know that at some point in time, hopefully during the course of this show, we will be able to get back to those as well. One person had a question in relation to why is it only when exiting the prep school on Walker's Road that you have to turn left after 7:30, but other schools can turn either way. So it seems as if prep school has been targeted for that. They must turn left after 7:30. Person points out that Catholic has more students as they have from kindergarten to sixth form, which would mean more traffic entering and exiting as well. So that was one question that one of our listeners had as well. So we're going to go straight to the phone lines with Mr. Mario Ebanks, who is a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's seeking to represent West Bay West in our parliament. Mr. Ebanks, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C., and good morning to all your listeners, and thanks for accommodating me this morning. As you said earlier, this is a part of my paid programming, but because of a scheduling conflict this morning, I wasn't able to actually physically come into the studio with you. Nothing personal, my friend. I'd love to be there with you. Sure. But we're doing it this morning.
Understood, yes.
Yes, I apologize for that. Mr. O.C., before I talk a bit about what I came here for to talk about this morning, is I want to just say a few things about my opponent who in West Bay West, who continues to run around the district, having these neighborhood meetings, disturbing these good people in these neighborhoods with his ranting and raving and noise and telling lies. The only thing he can grab a hold of, and he keeps on flogging that from his first meeting, which, by the way, they have meetings with the three of them, right? The three of those candidates, and they can hardly get 50 people, if that, and that's three candidates. So I just want to invite people to come out to our meeting for the West Bay West Mario E. Banks campaign committee meeting tomorrow night, Thursday night, at the Club Inferno parking lot on Hell Road. And let's see what a real meeting looks like. Let's see what a rally looks like. And just for one candidate, not three. So I want to invite people. But Mr. O.C. continues to talk about me supporting income tax. Like I said on your show a couple of times already, and in other of my talks. I don't know where he's getting this from. He makes up things and he keeps repeating it. He did that for the last 36 years, you know. He finds a lie, he keeps repeating it, and hope that it'll sink in and people will believe it. People have believed a lot of his lies for many years, but this time I think people are a lot wiser. And in 2021, it's time for real leadership. It's time for better vision, ideas, and solutions, and not lies and nonsense stories. So he talks about me wanting to embrace income tax. But again, as I said to you on a number of occasions, my opponent, when he was leader of government business, he brought in something called, or wanted to bring something in called a community enhancement fee, which was basically income tax. It was income tax. He had to abandon that once he saw that it couldn't work. The public raged against it. The business community raged against it. His own party raged against it, and he had to abandon them. So that's the story on that. I'm not going to be talking about his lies. I'm talking about the future of this country.
Okay.
The other thing I want to talk about, though, OC. Sorry, you had a question? Sorry.
No. Go right ahead.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is that he said to me, and he said to other people that he only wants to, if he's elected, he only wants to be the speaker. He doesn't want to be premier. He doesn't want to be minister. Nothing like that. He just wants to be a speaker. Now we're going to pay him $15,000 a month just to sit around and be the speaker and not do a very good job of it, by the way. There are many other people, including many other people in West Bay West, other people in West Bay West who can be a much better speaker than he is. But he won't want to be elected. He wants to collect a big salary for a speaker, just want to be the speaker, and doesn't want to be doing any more than that except throw mud. But I have to wonder, what is his plan? Because what is his intention? Because he runs around in his public meetings, and he had one last night in a neighborhood that he disturbed again with noise, that he says that he wants people to vote for him and his colleague running mate in West Bay North and his colleague in West Bay Central. And he says he hopes to get someone also in West Bay South. So he wants to go to Georgetown, according to him, with 4 seats from West Bay. And he says if he can carry 4 seats, then they have to listen to him. They have to listen to him. What that means, Mr. OC, what that means is that he wants to carry a block of 4 votes, West Bay West, West Bay Central, West Bay North, and whoever else he can do a deal with in West Bay South. And I think I know who that is. He wants to be able to go up to Georgetown on the 15th or 16th of April after the elections and negotiate with them for him to be the premier. Mr. Bush wants to be the premier, ladies and gentlemen. He just doesn't want to be the speaker. Why else does he want to run around, be desperate, tell lies, and throw mud, and try to carry in 3 or 4 seats? He's doing that because he wants to be premier. So I'm saying to you this morning, before I get into what I want to talk about this morning, that he's lying about me with income tax. So can you really trust him when he says that he wants to only be the speaker and he doesn't want to do anything else? So if he lies about me about wanting to impose income tax, then I think he must be, in my opinion, he must also be lying about his intentions to be the premier, to be the speaker only. He wants more than that. A vote for my opponent in West Bay West, a vote for his running mate in West Bay North, a vote for his running mate in West Bay Central means that you are going to be supporting him to be the premier. Does this country want another 4 years of my opponent as a elected MP, much more worse as premier? We can't have any more of that. So I believe that he wants to be premier. That's why he wants to carry 3 or 4 seats to Georgetown. And as I said, that I don't trust what he's saying. He's proven to me that he's lying about me being promoting income tax, which is a big, big lie. He can't seem to get that through his head. But also, I'm saying to you this morning that if he's lying about that, in my opinion, he's also lying about him not wanting to be anything more than a speaker. He wants to be premier. Why else would he want to take 3 seats to Georgetown, as he calls it, to negotiate after the election? Tell me. Answer that. What's your intention about only wanting to be the speaker? My opponent now is receiving a big pension, because once you turn 60, under the parliamentary pension law, you can start to draw your pension. So he's drawing his pension. He's doing what you call double dipping. So he's drawing a pension, which is probably $12,000 a month. Then he's also drawing a salary as a speaker, which is $14,000-15,000 a month. So he's taking home $20,000-25,000 a month, which I don't have a problem with that, right? Okay. But my problem is that he also says to the people of West Bay West, and to me, he said to me personally, and people on my committee has also come back to me and said, oh no, he wouldn't want to be the speaker. No, if you want just to be the speaker, why do you want to carry 3 or 4 seats to Georgetown, sir? Explain that. I wasn't born yesterday. The people of West Bay West are not fooled. They cannot be misled anymore. No more lies. Tell the truth. You want to be the speaker, but you will not be the speaker because you will not be elected in West Bay West. I want to talk this morning, though, about the future, not about the past. And Mr. O.C. and listeners, again, this is Mario Ebanks from West Bay West, your best choice in elections on April the 14th. Development and growth management. In my manifesto, I have a section on growth management, and it reads as follows. Develop a long-term strategic development plan, which I'm calling Vision 2050, for the Cayman Islands, which embraces all stakeholders, embraces the challenges, and also embraces the opportunities. The second pillar to that growth management plan in my manifesto is ensure that developers and investors financially contribute to solutions to mitigate the impact of sustainable approved projects. What that part means is that things like development impact fees and environmental impact fees, which were put in place by a previous government and was put in place by a previous government before my opponent took over the government as leader of government business in 2009. He rolled back all those fees when he was leader because he wanted to roll out the red carpet, or in his case in those days the green carpet, as his now friend, the current premier used to call it, the green carpet. He rolled all that back to stimulate large development. But what we are going to do is look at development impact fees and environmental impact fees to ensure that developers and investors coming in here contribute money as part of those fees that go into a separate government reserve, a separate government fund, and those are used to deal with the impacts of development. So whether it's roads, whether it's sewerage, whether it is water supply, whether it is education, social services, whatever, all of those fees contribute towards those causes, whether it means and includes school children getting proper meals and nutrition and early education and early detection of disabilities. All that kind of services can go from that development impact fee account. The similar thing, the environmental impact fee, is a fee that was meant to go towards protecting the environment and doing things to ensure that development does not destroy the future of this country by the development. So that's what those fees will go towards, and that's what my manifesto, those areas are speaking to. What this government has done is that they used a large portion of the environmental fee that was accumulated, the fund that was accumulated, a large portion of that they used to pay for the environmental assessment and the work that was done in drawings and everything for the cruise port that they were pushing in 2019 and into 2020 until the COVID came. And I think that's a project that they will push again. They will push again that cruise port project if they are re-elected. But they used the money from a lot of money, I think about $5 million from the environmental fund to fund design and testing and stuff for the cruise port.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Mario, I'm going to ask you to pause there so that we can take a commercial break, and then we will resume the discussion with you. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Mr. Mario Ebanks will continue after this short commercial break.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Now is your chance for big savings on all GE appliances at Bransauce Home Gallery. Bransauce needs to make room for more stock, so that means big savings for you. Save $600 on GE front-load launch repairs and save $800 on double-wall ovens and French door smart refrigerators. Save on dishwashers, ranges, microwaves, cooktops, wine coolers, and more. Now through Saturday the 27th at Bransauce Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Don't miss this chance for big savings on all GE appliances. Hurry in today.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have Mr. Mario Ebanks on the line. He's a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general election in the Cayman Islands. He's seeking to represent the electoral district of West Bay West in our parliament. This is a paid slot by Mr. Ebanks. It's a 1 hour slot that has been paid for by him. If he wants to entertain calls at any point in time, we can arrange a three-way hookup for that, and that would be at Mr. Mario Ebanks' discretion as well. Mr. Ebanks, back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. O.C., and welcome back to the listeners. Before we took the break, I was talking about whether we can trust my opponent in him saying that he only wants to be the speaker, and I maintain that he wants to be more than that. He wants to be premier again. Mm-hmm. You remember what happened when he was premier last time. And so a vote for him, a vote for his running mates in West Bay North and his running mate in West Bay Central is also a vote for him being premier. And again, I ask the people of West Bay and West Bay West in particular, do you want him back as your premier? If not, please reject him. I also want to say to the people driving into Georgetown or driving to work from the east, I know you're probably stuck in traffic. I know how you feel as well. And I really know that help is on the way. And we're going to deal with that if we can form the government and bring a better way forward. Also want to say to the people driving from West Bay and going into town, who will soon get into a bottleneck in town as well, that I feel your pain also. I know that you don't have any more view of that beautiful 7 Mile beach and the coast, because thanks to the UDP and my opponent, they closed that road and they continue to do things that's going to reduce the quality of life in this country. But we can remove them and make sure that we can do a proper plan and development and sustainable growth for this country. When you vote for Mario Ebanks in West Bay West and other good people in West Bay North and West Bay Central who are alternatives to the current incumbent and his surrogates. I want to talk about development, as I mentioned to you earlier on, Mr. O.C., and after that I'll talk a bit about transportation if we have time, and if you want to take a call or two, I have no objection to that. But let me just get through my point on development as well.
Sure.
I heard someone call a while ago, someone I know very well, and talking about some of the questions to ask politicians or candidates. As you know, I don't know if you've been listening, but as you know, on your show, I've been talking about this issue of sustainable development and growth management for quite a while. As a matter of fact, I think on my very first interview with you in this paid program for the elections, I talked about that issue of sustainable development.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Growth management is also another word for sustainable development. And I talked about my plan of Vision 2050. And we had a plan here called Vision 2008, which was a national strategic plan. It was a good plan. done by a large cross-section of Caymanians, non-Caymanians, public sector and private sector people. But that plan didn't get implemented because it was, a government change, and then the plan got sort of put on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that we can do a new plan, Vision 2050, which will be a similar kind of approach and have the buy-in and have the support of governments, not just for 4 years, but for maybe 40 years. But what I want to say in regard to growth management and sustainable development is the issue of carrying capacity. Mm-hmm. Carrying capacity is a principle which says that a country can only carry so much of anything. And you have to, and that's a econometric term that looks at calculating various impacts, right? And impact on the environment, impact on society, impact on population. And so this headlong rush, as Mr. Paul Keynes Douglas, the famous Caribbean writer, talks about, we are at a precipice and we're about to make one bold step forward. If we keep marching towards this goal that some of the greedy people, some of the short-term thinkers in this country are pursuing, of looking at 100,000, 120,000, 150,000 population, we are doing just that. We are doing what Paul Keynes Douglas said. We're marching towards a precipice and are about to make one bold step forward. We have to look at carrying capacity. But look at what's happening with the DART organization, DART, D-A-R-T. I welcome investment. I welcome sensible development. But I'm always, you can go back to my record from the time I was in university in the 80s. I always preface that by saying it has to be sustainable, it has to be managed, and it has to be you have to recognize our carrying capacity. Look at what is happening, as I said to you in our previous interview with Mr. O.C., with the Indigo Hotel. Now, under the National Roads Authority Agreement, the NRA agreement, the UDP government, then my opponent was in charge of government, they negotiated. He now tries to say that, no, this is not his thing, this is the current government doing it. No, he did it. They negotiated this NRA agreement, and in that they had they closed off that road that ran along the beach, and it went through by from Holman Corner, as they call it, all the way along the beach. You could see the beautiful sea grape trees, you could see the sand, you could smell the water, you could see the water. And now that's all closed off, and you had to go across that bypass after you get to Holman Corner, and all along the beach now is closed off, right? And the public beach used to be able to access that and everything along there. That's no longer the case. The Kimpton is there now. They have a little emergency driveway there just in case emergencies. It may take one small car each way or one way, and so they have closed off. They closed off the public beach where people used to go for camping at Easter. All along there where that road's closed used to be great camping ground for Caymanians, West Bayers, Georgetowners, and all others. And they said that they were going to do this new public beach. They removed some of our white sand, brought in some gold sand from somewhere else, and they put a campground there, they put a parking lot, and they also had an area for children to play. And they had an area that was right adjacent to the bypass road, Mr. O.C., that they said was going to be used for camping. People could have, put tents and they could have Easter camping. Mm-hmm. Now, if you drive across that road now, just past the Kimpton, you will see a construction site. All the grass has been taken up, mounds of soil taken up, superstructures being put down for footing and for footing for the crane, and a 10-story hotel, Indigo, is going in that spot, right? That's what's happening in that spot. Now, the DART organization, with the support, I believe, of this government, and obviously the support of my opponent, that he supports anything that talks about 20, 30-story or 50-story buildings, they're proposing a new pad, which is a development plan, right? And as somebody called early on, a lady whose voice I recognize, a wonderful lady called Tricia, well, this morning talked about the plan that the DART organization has to develop that whole area there, where that high-rise kind of bridge is after the Kimpton Hotel, mm-hmm. And if you look at that from the 7 Mile Beach, if you can get to 7 Mile Beach and look through it, you can see that it's high enough. It's really a bridge, almost like a causeway. Over there, underneath that, is sufficient space. And what the plan is there, which we knew from the start, was that they're going to dredge a number of canals in there from the North Sound. They're going to come underneath that bridge. Their plan is to come in and dredge a big area on that vacant land, which is for the Kaboo, which the Kaboo festival is held on.
Right.
I see that they're dumping a lot of material there now. I think it's just putting it there temporary. And they're going to dredge that whole area out and make a turning basin for yachts and boats to be able to come through there. And between that canal and turning basin and the current 7 Mile Beach and 7 Mile water is probably going to be maybe 1,000 feet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you're going to have the North Sound and the 7 Mile Beach within 1,000 feet of each other. So tell me what's going to happen when you get nor'westers or hurricanes or any bad weather. You're going to have those two waters joining. And in a bad situation, you could have West Bay cut off. So West Bay could become its own separate island. Then we have another island in Cayman now once that is done. I am saying to people, the callers who called previously, my brother and the other lady talked about development and where we're going, that we cannot allow this to happen. We need to support the West Bay Action Committee. I think they're having a meeting tonight. And I'm also in the Chamber of Commerce debate tonight, actually at the same time, where I hope my opponent shows up, because I have a few things to tell him if he shows up, and he can defend his record if he shows up.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there again at that juncture so that we can take another commercial break. Just remember where you were in your conversation. As soon as we return, we will resume the conversation with you, Ms. Banks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Now is your chance for big savings on all GE appliances at Brandsource Home Gallery. Brandsource needs to make room for more stock, so that means big savings for you. Save $600 on GE front load launch repairs and save $800 on double wall ovens and French door smart refrigerators. Save on dishwashers, ranges, microwaves, cooktops, wine coolers, and more. Now through Saturday the 27th at Brandsource Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Don't miss this chance for big savings on all GE appliances. Hurry in today. Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We now resume our conversation with Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's seeking to represent the electoral district of West Bay West in our parliament. Mr. Ebanks, over to you, sir.
Thanks again, Mr. O.C., and again, welcome to your listeners wherever they are, locally or internationally, especially those in West Bay West. I'm happy that I'm able to call this morning. I still regret not being there with you, but I'm happy to be able to engage you with these topics. And you're such a learned host, my friend. I really appreciate engaging with you for the record.
Thank you.
Before we took the break, I was talking about the intentions of my opponent, and he said he wants to just be the Speaker of the House if he's re-elected, but I maintain he wants to be the Premier. And so I'm saying that if you vote for him and his running mates, you're going to have him negotiating in Georgetown, as he calls it, for something big, and he wants to be the Premier. So I want to tell the person who has been named as the new Premier, Mr. Roy McTaggart, watch your back, watch yourself, because my opponent has always been the one that he ran with. In 2000, he also ousted Mr. Kurt Tibbetts. In 1992, he ran with Mr. Tom Jefferson, and he ran with Mr. Truman Bodden on the national team, and he ousted them, and he also backstabbed Mr. Tom Jefferson. In 1984, he got elected with Mr. Benson Ebanks, and by 1987, he had turned against him, and in 1992, he kicked him out and stabbed him in the back. So Mr. Roy McTaggart and all the others and the progressives, watch your back, because my opponent is not running to be the Speaker. He's running to be the Premier. And I say to you then that in West Bay West, your best choice is Mario Ebanks. In West Bay North, your best choice is Bernie Bush. And in West Bay Central, your best choice is Catherine Ebanks Wilkes. And that is your lineup for West Bay West, West Bay North, and West Bay Central, your best choice. Moving back towards my topic of development.
Okay.
And
no suggestions for West Bay South?
Not yet. That one is still being analyzed, and I think I know where my opponent is going with that one, but I don't want to say so yet, because I believe in working on evidence and facts and not on innuendo or lies. So once I do have the facts, I will declare it, but I don't have it yet.
Okay.
But I do know that Mario Ebanks, Captain Ebanks Wilkes, and Bernie Bush will not support my opponent to be Premier. And we are against him and his opponents, not against them personally, because we don't have anything personal against them. No violence, no nothing, no ill will, but we are against them politically, and only politically. Now, going back to the issue of 100,000 person population, the carrying capacity and all that, I spoke about the Indigo Hotel and the new huge destructive plan that the DART organization has, which if my opponent and his running mates get elected in West Bay and they form the government with him as Premier, you can bet that that project is going to get the green light. You're going to see 20 or 30 story towers being built where those two bridges are now near the Cayman Bay area. You're going to see 30 story towers being built in where the yacht club is, and also where the old Hyatt used to be. You're going to see all kinds of stuff happening in this country. You're going to look like Hong Kong or like Shanghai if you leave them alone. But we cannot have that, because my plan, Vision 2050, is certainly a 2020 plan, because you're looking at perfect vision. Where we're going to assemble a large group of people comprising all demographics, public and private sector, professionals, and we're going to have a national summit, and we're going to develop this Vision 2050 in a very professional manner, using expertise from wherever it is, paid and unpaid, and we want to develop a plan of where we want to be for the next 30 years, a plan that leverages all of our strengths, embraces change, embraces vision, but also looks at development for the good of the people. We're not about stopping development. We're not about curtailing opportunity. We're about making sure that what we do today does not influence the future of our children and grandchildren yet unborn. In the 1970s, Mr. O.C., there was a report done by a consulting group called Leaventhal and Harvard.
Okay.
And they were a consulting group, and I believe they were brought in by the government, of which the Honorable Benson O.E. Banks was leading, and they were looking at the whole issue of planning. And that report by the consultants Leaventhal and Harvard, and anybody who wants that report can contact Mr. Billy Adam, because he has it, and he has a trove of information over the decades on these subjects. So he's a wonderful guy that looks at long term instead of short term. He's a person like me that believes he doesn't believe in short term gain for long term pain. He believes in carrying capacity and managed growth as well. Okay. But that Leaventhal and Harvard report looked at the issue of carrying capacity, and looked at population, and it looked at how much tourists we can have compared to residents, and also the population demographics. It's a wonderful report. But what happened in 1976 is that the government of the early 70s was looking at putting in place proper roads, putting in place proper development plan, putting in place proper environmental plan. They got kicked out in 1976, again by people who were looking at short-term gain for long-term pain. Then we moved to the 1990s when Mr. Benson Banks again, and Mr. Norman Borden, Captain Charles Kirkconnell, Sir Vassal Johnson, they were in the cabinet, and they were also joined later by Mr. Linford Pearson, Honorable Linford Pearson, and also Honorable Ezra Miller, and they put in place, again trying to put in place a development plan for the long term. And they had a company come in, a firm called Coopers and Lybrand. Coopers and Lybrand since morphed to PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they're here in Cayman today. They did a report, again looking at tourism and what's sustainable and carrying capacity. And they then developed this concept of, let's have a hotel moratorium on 7 Mile Beach, and let's do it because we want to cool things down a little bit, and we want to ensure that until the current hotels were met a certain occupancy level, we are not going to encourage other hotels on 7 Mile Beach. You could go other parts of the island with small scale development, but you couldn't go in 7 Mile Beach. So there was a moratorium. So again, unfortunately, what happened to that government? My opponent and his handlers and his influence peddlers got him and his group in the national team when they got elected in 1992 to lift that hotel moratorium and open the floodgates once again. And so he had a track record of that because, as I said before, this issue of development impact fees and environmental impact fees, he doesn't want to hear anything about that. He just wants to open the floodgates. So they did that. They lifted the hotel moratorium, and now we have a situation where we have you can drive from the West Bay Cemetery, between the West Bay Cemetery and Georgetown Cemetery, you can probably count 8 or 9 cranes, not counting the 1 or 2 of them soon go up for the new Indigo Hotel. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a sign of development, but who are we developing for, and can we sustain this kind of development? And do we need to do, if you have 9 or 10 cranes between the 2 cemeteries, West Bay Cemetery and Georgetown Cemetery, in that kind of environment, do we need to be giving people tax concessions, giving developers tax concessions or write-offs for people that are coming in? You know, Cayman is is a part of the Caribbean, and people want to come here. Mm-hmm. So if they want to come here, let them pay the price for the impact of their development on our society, on our environment, and to mitigate the damage. But even better, to manage the growth so that they don't come all at one time, and you phase this thing over the next 30 to 50 years so that it be sustainable for future generations. And that's why my opponent, rather than him talking about me wanting to bring in the income tax, he better talk about why is it that in this environment that we have now, where we have all this development taking place, why are we still giving these large developers all these sweetheart deals of tax concessions?
In 30 seconds, we're going to go to a break, so I just want to let you know in 30 seconds we're going to go to a break.
Thank you. So that's where we got to talk about what's he doing about those concessions. We need that for our young people, for our children, for our community, for our environment, and not giving away to the rich people who are coming in and getting millionaires anyhow.
Okay, folks, top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation with candidate Mr. Mario Ebanks will continue, so please stay tuned.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Good day, this is Dr. Croy McCoy from the Department of Environment, and this is an important announcement for all boat operators, divers, and snorkelers. Stony coral tissue loss disease is having a devastating impact on the Cayman Islands coral reef ecosystem. Pathogens on dive gear may survive for extended periods of time and can be transferred among reefs. If you're diving or snorkeling anywhere in the Cayman Islands and before traveling between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, please disinfect your boat bilges and dive gear in a 1% bleach solution for 10 minutes before diving or snorkeling in a new geographic location. For more information or to make any reports, please visit our website at www.doe.ky.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on Island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 353 COVID-19 tests on Tuesday. All came back negative. There are currently 728 people in isolation. The Cayman Islands has vaccinated around 22% of the population, with 43% of those having received at least one dose of the 2-dose course. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could struggle to secure enough seats in parliament to stay in power. With almost 90% of votes counted, his right-wing bloc is on course to win 59 seats, 2 short of the threshold. In a surprise development, an Arab party, which is projected to get 5 seats, could hold the balance of power. And dozens of vessels are stuck after a giant container ship became wedged across Egypt's Suez Canal, one of the busiest trade routes. Rescue boats are working to free the 400-meter-long vessel, which was knocked off course by strong winds. Egypt says it has reopened the canal's older channel to divert traffic amid fears it could remain blocked for days. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'll be having a phone line with us this morning. Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's seeking to represent the electoral district of West Bay West in our parliament. Mr. Mario, just a little time management for you to let you know we're going to take another commercial break at about 9:15. Your interview will end at 9:30. So I don't know at what juncture you want me to let the listening audience know that we're going to open up the phone lines if they have any comments or questions, for you. You may want to do that after the next commercial break?
That's a good idea. Let's go to 9:15, and then we can, after the break, we can take a few calls and see where that goes.
Excellent. The mic is yours, sir.
Thank you. When we took the break, I was talking about tax concessions and write-offs and sweetheart deals that are given to large developers during a time when the country is already overheating with large developments, especially on 7 Mile Beach area and the West Bay corridor. And I also said earlier that my opponent says he wants to be only the speaker if he's re-elected, but I maintain he wants to be the premier. And so I said that any vote for him or his running mates in West Bay North and West Bay Central is a vote for him as premier. And I am, again, suggesting and asking the voters of West Bay West to give me a chance, Mario Ebanks, on the 14th of April. Also, in West Bay North, vote for Mr. Bernie Bush as your best choice, and also vote for Ms. Cassie Ebanks-Wilkes in West Bay Central as your best choice. I'm not prepared to speak to West Bay South as yet, but my opponent at his meeting last night, his neighborhood meeting where he's making a lot of noise and telling lies, especially about me with tax, says that he has somebody in West Bay South, and he wants to carry four votes to Georgetown after the election to negotiate. And he can only be negotiating for him to be the premier, because you have to negotiate to be the speaker. That's an easy one. But he talks about tax, about B1 income tax, which is a lie, a blatant lie. He knows it. But he also talks about these concessions. And I'll say to you, in regard to Indigo, the new pad that DART wants to do, those are projects that are very, very serious, especially that one with the canal cut in and the turning basin. And I want to invite people to attend the meeting this evening at the Papagayo restaurant in West Bay, where the West Bay Action Committee is meeting, and they're putting together objections to that project. So you can go and you can sign the letter and you can object to that. I'm also going to be on the Chamber of Commerce debate this evening, I think at 7:15. My opponent is supposed to be there. He's probably not going to show up, but he's supposed to be there. I hope he shows up. But going back to my topic of development, this morning, I talked about the 1970s report, the Laventhal and Harvard. I talked about the Coopers and Lybrand 1990s report. I talked about the hotel moratorium that was put in place to help to manage your growth and to look at carrying capacity. But that moratorium was removed by my opponent when his government took power in 1992 after he ousted Mr. Benson Ebanks. And he went on then to serve for 8 years with the National Team government after they ousted him in 1997 from cabinet because of the First Cayman Bank fiasco. You remember he was a director of the First Cayman Bank. First Cayman Bank went bankrupt, and a lot of West Bayers lost all of their life savings, a lot of it, in that debacle. And my opponent was removed from executive council then as a member because of his involvement of being a director of that bank. But in 1999, 2000, he ran then, and he ran against Mr. Tom Jefferson, who he ran with in 1992 and got in with. And mightn't have got in if he hadn't run with Mr. Jefferson. Ran with him, so in 2000 he ran against him and put Mr. Tom into retirement. So that's the kind of track record that he has, and I can talk a lot more about that. I know a whole lot more about the First Cayman Bank fiasco, but I can't say so because I'm bound to secrecy, because I was a Node Republic in those days, and I saw all those documents that were signed, but I can't talk about them, and I will not talk about them. So getting back to development then is that my opponent believes in giving these concessions and tax breaks and write-offs to these large developers at a time when the country is overheating with large developments. And I think we need to look at that. And the only plan that I have about tax is looking at reinstituting those development impact fees and those environmental impact fees on large developments in certain areas where we can't handle any more development. But if we have to incentivize people to go to other parts of the island to do sensible and balanced kind of development, we could do that. But on the 7 Mile Strip, we can't do that anymore. because it's overdeveloped right now. We're going to soon have. He talks about there's no problem on the West Bay Road getting to Georgetown. And that's because all of those big projects have not come online yet. When they come online, West Bay could get back to where it was before the Progressives and Mr. Arden McLean worked on pushing through the bypass roads to give West Bay some relief. We were sitting in traffic sometimes an hour and a half in the morning to get to Georgetown. Once these big hotels and projects get on stream and tourism and the economy gets back going, we could be in the same mess that people from the east get into with traffic. So we need to have development impact fees, environmental impact fees put in place to deal with some of our infrastructure and some of our other social woes. And that is why this present government is slowly, very slowly looking at something called Plan Cayman, which is a development plan review. I don't know why it's taking them so long. I think I know why it's taking them so long, because they don't want to do it. They don't want to provide a plan, because in the absence of a plan, everything flies, it seems, and there's no direction. But my plan, Vision 2050, will look at all aspects of development: population, environment, heritage, culture, human capital development, environment. All of the spokes in the wheel that you build a nation with will be put in that plan, Vision 2050.
Okay.
It's a bold undertaking, but we can do it. And I believe in making big plans that makes man's blood curl, plans that rise people up to greatness. I believe in big plans. Think big, think outside the box, and we can do it. The area that I want to talk about briefly too, which I touched upon as I came on this morning, Mr. O.C., a sip of water here, is the area of traffic management. So I talked a bit earlier about growth management. I want to talk a bit about traffic management. In our manifesto, in the manifesto for the committee to elect Mario Eubanks, we have in traffic management, we have two planks that we're pushing, and we'll develop all the details around those as time goes on. And we do have specific plans as well, but we don't put all that in the manifesto because people have too much to read and it'll be too detailed. But the two planks are as follows in our manifesto in relation to traffic management. Implement the long-range major road corridors in the eastern districts, and overall implement a host of non-monetary but effective traffic management strategies. The second plank is institute a cooling off and driving culture awareness for new expatriate heavy equipment and buses drivers. Let me just take a minute, if I can, to just touch on two of those, what it means.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes before we go to that commercial break.
Okay, so the first one about the road corridors, we need to push those through. I see now as the election harkens that they have the broken ground to push that road from in Savannah and Newlands area going east. That's good. I hope it's just not an election ploy. But in addition to putting through road corridors, we have a small amount of land in this country, and we can build all the roads that we can if we want to. But unless you have a proper strategy and unless you have proper growth management, building roads is not going to solve it, because we're going to run out of space to start with. So we need to, in addition to building roads, we have to put in place other what I call non-monetary or non-capital strategies. Things like staggered time for workplaces, which we did successfully during COVID, flex time, working from home, telecommuting. So I know some jobs you can't do that; you have to be physically on site. But those jobs that you can do that, you can do those things. A proper public transport system, one that is not corrupt, one that you have proper equipment, one that you have drivers that are not running like they're running a race every day, and it's frightening their passengers to death and also other road users. Looking at making sure that heavy equipment is not on the road at certain times of the day. All of those ideas in terms of non-monetary or non-capital intensive solutions are things that we can do in addition to cutting roads wherever we can and wherever it makes sense. So our strategy is, capital investments such as roads where it makes sense, looking at. I think this government has really been trying with the road projects and looking at reinventing roundabouts and stuff like that. But the fact is that it gets down to carrying capacity. No matter how much roads you build, we only have a small amount of space in the Cayman Islands to build roads unless we can destroy people's homes and neighborhoods, as they might want to do. We're not going to do that. But you also need to put in place other non-capital initiatives and think outside the box in regard to that. And I'll talk a bit about more of that later on if I have chance. Because before COVID, people thought that working from home or telecommuting was a joke. But just before COVID, I went to a meeting of the Traffic Management Committee to make a presentation. Some of the things that I told them in my presentation, I think they laughed at. But 4 weeks later, COVID came in, and some of those same things they had to do, and then they embraced them as being effective. The second plank in that traffic management plan that I talked about, that cooling off period. Mr. O.C. and our listeners, we have people who come to this country and they drive heavy equipment, trucks, they drive the buses, and they get to drive that the day after they arrive here on the island, and they have a work permit. And they drive that equipment, providing that they have a license. They drive it like they're driving in their home country, where they're driving dangerous and reckless and whatnot. Our plan is this: when you come to work for certain jobs, like being bus drivers, or minibus drivers, heavy equipment, truck drivers and stuff, you have to have a period of cooling off, at least a month, where you understand the Cayman culture, you understand the driving protocols around here, you understand the need for clearing the road, and that's what we're going to do, implement a cooling off period for people coming into work in those types of jobs.
Okay, we're going to take that break now. Folks, when we return, we will have the final segment with Mr. Mario Eubanks, so please stay tuned. I believe at that point he's going to open up the phone lines as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural-tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed, and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
The Chamber of Commerce, in association with Foster's, is hosting a series of candidate forums. Candidates from each of the 19 constituencies respond to questions submitted by the public in a recent online Chamber survey. Watch the forums by streaming the Chamber's or Radio Cayman's Facebook or YouTube channels on CIG TV or Logic Channel 23, weeknights from 7:15 p.m. Visit caymanchamber.ky for up-to-date election news and candidates' profiles. The forums are also proudly sponsored by DART, Affinity Recruitment, and Bawden's Legal and Corporate.
Tonight's forum features candidates from West Bay West, Makiva Bush and Mario Eubanks. You can watch tonight's debates on Radio Cayman's Facebook page, CIG TV's cable channel, or on the Chamber's YouTube channel live from 7:15.
Radio Cayman brings you For the Health of It live with Tara Bush on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And if you miss it, you can tune in for the rebroadcast on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Chlorodo Bleach is proud to sponsor For the Health of It. Mildew, no problem. Stains, no problem. Whites, no problem. Sanitary cleaning, no problem. Chlorodo Bleach has got you covered. For the ultimate clean, use Chlorodo Bleach. Available at Foster's Food Fair, 2 liters and 1 gallon sizes. Pick up your bottle today.
The ultimate clean is a Chlorodo clean.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of Mr. Mario we're on the last leg of Mr. Mario Ebanks' paid section of the show this morning. Back over to you, Mr. Ebanks. And I believe we have opened the phone lines now, have we?
That's fine with me.
Okay. So just to let our listeners know, phone lines are open. We have a short period of time left, so if you have any questions or comments, we ask you to please be as brief as possible as well. Go ahead in the meantime, Mr. Mario.
Yeah, thank you. And if the callers call in, it would be useful for them to talk about what I've discussed this morning, which is growth management, development planning, and also traffic management. And that would be best use of time that we can discuss those this morning.
Certainly.
Of course, we'll be discussing other topics as I come back on with you and with Dwayne in the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be good. And I want to also thank you, Mr. O.C., for accommodating me this morning on the phone as opposed to in the studio. You are proof positive this morning that telecommuting can work. Because I don't have to drive into Georgetown. I can stay at home this morning and telecommute. So I can do my work from home this morning with you on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And I thank you, and I thank all of the listeners for listening and for learning and for becoming inspired about the change that we can bring on April the 14th if we all work, if we all get out there and talk to our neighbors, if we all get involved in our campaign, the campaign to elect Mario Banks in West Bay West. Again, I said that my opponent is gathering candidates in West Bay to be able to go to Georgetown, as he calls it, to negotiate after the elections. And he's going to negotiate for him to be the premier. That's what he wants to be. So he wants to take candidates from West Bay North, West Bay Central, and West Bay South to Georgetown so he can have a block of 4 that he can then be a power source again to be in a coalition or a unity government or with him as premier. I would say that people have been saying across this country, candidates, they're not going to work with him. So I don't know who he's going to work with if he goes up there with this. But of course, if he gets 4 votes, he will have negotiating power. So I would say to you, please, voters in West Bay West, West Bay North, West Bay Central, vote for Mario Ebanks. West Bay North, vote for Brown and Bush. West Bay Central, vote for Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes. And we can ensure that my opponent does not have the power to go and negotiate for him to be the premier, which he wants to be. If he carries 1 vote, that's too much. But we got to make sure he doesn't carry any, or that he's not there to carry any politically. And if we take those seats, West Bay West, West Bay North, and West Bay Central, we can then bring positive change to this country, focus on the real issues, and also deal with looking at the future and not the past. And we're all about solutions, ideas, and a better vision. And I want to thank those people who have called me, reached out to me, people who have gone to see. And there's a lot of people yet to see and talk to that I'm here for you. Give me a chance. I will not let you down. I will not embarrass you. I will work hard as I always have done for you. I'm doing this full time. If I'm elected, I am going to be a full-time representative, and I'll be there for you. I'll have an office in the district. If I'm in the cabinet, I'll also be available to you in the district. And so, this is serious stuff. This is serious stuff. When someone decides to go into public service, they have to dedicate their life to it, right? And as Margaret Mead said, no doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. We can do it. We can do it. But I need your vote in West Bay West, my dear friends in West Bay West. And you also need to look at good people in West Bay North. And I suggest to you, Mr. Brown and Bush, is that and West Bay Central, I suggest to you also that Captain Ebanks will is the best choice there as well. We have, I'm just waiting for calls, but in the meantime, I'll march on.
Sure.
We have a public meeting tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock.
Okay. As soon as you finish this statement, we do have a caller, so we'll put that caller through as soon as you finish, Mr. Ebanks.
Sure. So 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, Thursday, at the Club Inferno parking lot on Hell Road. Come one, come all. We're going to talk about solutions. We're going to have endorsements. We're going to have guest speakers. Refreshments will be served. And with some luck, I'm hoping that our wonderful, beautiful, unique T-shirts are going to be available as well. I'm depending on the young, dynamic Caymanian entrepreneur who is doing them to have those delivered today. And we're supposed to get those out. If not, they'll be there next time. But they're wonderful, and you'll love those. So I think that's the call, Mr. Ossie.
Sure. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. You have Mr. Mario Ebanks on the other line.
Okay. Good morning. I'm just calling in to thank Mr. Ebanks for his discussion. It's been very interesting. I don't vote in West Bay South, but I am...
No, he's at West Bay West.
West Bay West,
Uh-huh.
but his discussions today specifically about the development has been very interesting. And I wondered if he or any other constituents representatives have given any thought to the carrying capacity for the North Sound. Specifically, obviously for Caymanian boat captains and licensees and tour operators, and whether there should be consideration for setting aside canal space for operators so that there can be fair competition within the industry. Obviously, as competition enters the market, you're going to have a situation in North Sound that I'm not sure is being considered or is going to be tenable in the long term. So I would be interested in hearing his thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mario? Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, caller. Yeah, I want to thank that caller very much for that question, bringing up such an important issue. Carrying capacity for the North Sound, that's critical. My good friend and the gentleman on my committee, the one who nominated me, Mr. Troy Leacock, is on a committee of water sports operators looking at the North Sound specifically and looking at the strategy that needs to be employed once we reopen the economy for tourism, and in particular the North Sound. I have a meeting scheduled with them. We're still working out the details, and I know Troy is working very hard with a group of Caymanian water sports operators and looking at that issue. But to answer the caller's question, I do have serious concern, and I also have not just concern, but a plan to deal with carrying capacity in the North Sound, especially in relation to Stingray City and the dive sites and North Sound in general. And in our Vision 2050 plan, that'll all be included. But in the meantime, what we're going to do, once we are able to reopen the tourism economy for cruise ships, and I think we need to have cruise ships as part of our mix, but we need to manage it better as well, and we need to look at growth management and carrying capacity. My plan, which I've discussed with Troy and with others, and we're developing the tactics around it, is that we'll have a limit of the amount of ships that can come per day. So no longer will you have 6 or 7 ships in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and in the season you have them, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But once we reopen, we're not going to have any choice really to do this, because we're not going to be able to have those kind of volumes coming, and with the situation in the U.S., United States, and other places, you're not going to have that cruise ship business coming on stream till probably starting in sometime next year. I'm hoping that we can start it up, as early as January, providing that the vaccine program works, providing the United States get their act together with their vaccine, and other gateway countries can do that. But we'll have a scheduling. So you say to them, look, we can only accommodate, because of our carrying capacity, 2 or 3 ships per day, because you have to have social distancing, you have to have lack of crowding, you have to be able to manage traffic, manage Stingray City, manage the attractions. But you'll not just have some days with feast or famine. In other words, you wouldn't have some days where you have 7 or 8 ships, and some days they have none. Under my plan, you'll have 2 or 3 ships every day. Maybe Sunday too. I don't have a particular problem with that, but I prefer not to. But if you have 3 ships a day, for 7 days, that's 21 ships per week, and that's the kind of numbers we're getting now. But the problem we have now, Mr. OC and listeners, we have them coming on certain days, and it's crowding up everything. And some days you have none. My plan is to have it managed. You look at carrying capacity. You look at what the country can handle in terms of traffic, the tour operators, the North-South, but also ensure that people who are living on the hotels and condos on the 7 Mile Beach and wherever can also come into Georgetown to do their shopping and go to the Atlantis Submarine and go to the museum and go to dive sites without having huge crowds to contend with. So my plan is about planning.
Okay.
I'm just talking about planning.
We have 1 minute left. We do have 2 callers. What I'm going to do is give you an opportunity for some closing comments. We're going to ask those callers to stay online. We will still allow them to make their comments after Mr. Mario Ebanks has exited. If he wants to continue to listen to Radio Cayman, he can, and address whatever concerns or issues that those 2 callers may raise afterwards. I would certainly invite him to do so. So, Mr. Mario, you have 1 minute for closing comments.
So today I talked about the intentions of my opponent, and I said that he is lying about me with income tax, and I don't believe him also about him just want to be the speaker. He wants to be the premier. I also talked today about development and the need for sustainable growth management and the need for a Vision 2050, which is in my plan. I also invite people to go to the West Bay Action Committee meeting tonight to get involved in opposing the DART project to build a huge marina and canal from the north sound to 7 Mile Beach. And I also talked this morning about traffic management. And I want to say to the people who are on the phone calling in, I'm sorry I missed you and can't talk to you on the phone today on this show. But come to our public meeting tomorrow night at Hell, Inferno, and on Hell Road. And we're going all the way to Hell to get out the good word, obviously. and come there tomorrow evening to hear what we have to say. You can meet me and ask questions. Also, I'll be back on Radio Cayman on Monday at 12:15 to 1:15 p.m. with Sterling Dween. You can also call in there, too. So thank you all very much. Have a good day. God bless these Cayman Islands and be safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mario Ebanks. Those callers who are on hold, please hold on there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to have our open line, and you can still address your issues. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Get ready, Cayman. The meeting you have all been waiting for. The Alliance will be at the ICCI car park in Newlands on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Listen to your Bodentown representatives Dwayne John Seymour and Alva Suku. Newcomer for Bodentown West, Vincent Frederick. Your Premier Alden McLaughlin and new Progressives leader Roy McTaggart. This Thursday, 7:30 p.m. at the ICCI car park in Newlands. This is a paid advertisement by the Progressives.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today, it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Now is your chance for big savings on all GE appliances at Bransauce Home Gallery. Bransauce needs to make room for more stock, so that means big savings for you. Save $600 on GE front load launch repairs and save $800 on double wall ovens and French door smart refrigerators. Save on dishwashers, ranges, microwaves, cooktops, wine coolers, and more. Now through Saturday the 27th at Bransauce Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Don't miss this chance for big savings on all GE appliances. Hurry in today.
Why work with a Cereba agent? We can tell you that those letters represent a proven understanding of the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. But it also means so much more than that. Our trained Cereba agents are committed to ethics, integrity, and excellence of practice. It's all about confidence knowing you are working with a qualified Cereba agent. As members of Cereba, your trust is our promise. To find a Cereba agent today or to search thousands of listings, visit Cereba.com. Cereba, the mark of excellence in real estate.
I'm looking for a new pizza joint with that perfect crust. My car needs a bit of a tune-up, and my pregnant wife needs something from the pharmacy. So I turned to the printed yellow directory, and in an instant, the pizzas are ordered, the oil change is booked, and the thing that I'm not allowed to say out loud has been purchased for my wife. Problem solved. When you need something quick, do yourself a favor. Flip through the printed yellow directory. Stop searching, start finding. Yellow, we know local.
The following is a paid political announcement by Prospect candidate Ms. Sabrina Turner.
Prospect residents, you are invited to a public meeting on Thursday, March 25th at 7:30 p.m. in the parking lot of the Kitchen Jerk Center in Prospect. That is Thursday, March 25 at 7:30 p.m. For further information, call 926-8080.
The proceeding was a paid political announcement by Prospect candidate Ms. Sabrina Turner.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have an open line now and we have two callers who have been holding for quite a while, so we're going straight to them. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient, and our apologies that you weren't able to interact with Mr. Mario while he was on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
You hear that? How I treated you there? So nice to you and everything. Apologizing. The one and only Kofi.
I'm not gonna follow you down that road. I'm not going behind you. I just want to say I had two issues, but I guess I can only I would want to speak to Mr. Mario directly.
Okay.
So let me kind of air it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I, not being too technical illiterate, and then not being...
You're being modest.
Literate at all. No, ask people out there. I one time happened to back up on Vision 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm saying is, yeah, Plan 2050, I believe in it, and it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But when we enter a room, we should enter a room as Caymanians. And it should be Caymanians at the helm of that. Mm-hmm. And we should identify ourselves. I don't know if the law defines us yet. You could tell me that. But, you know, unless you define yourself, people will define themselves. And in the Cayman context, that shows us right back to the back of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what went wrong with Vision 2008.
Yeah, that was one of the criticisms, yes.
Well, I didn't even know it was a criticism. I thought it was only me when I had seen it. And, you know, we need to identify ourselves and what is our plan for us to not be fully guided and wholly guided by people who come from other places and want us to fit our plans into what they know. And I'm not saying you can't tweak and you can't put, but sometimes and most times, and I believe we are in this dilemma because we just cut and paste from all over the place and everybody want their representation. And in this, what do you call it, this diaspora? In this diaspora, it's now overseas and it's right here.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
In this diaspora, we need to know best who we are. And the thing I say, money velocity. I know Mario can do that for me. I want to know the money velocity in this country for over 40 years for both economies. You know, in Cayman, we got about 6, but just say official and unofficial. If we could just know that, I know that we are smart enough to know where our interest lies in all of this. And I know you're not going to get a real figure because we don't have that taxation. That's why we need taxation.
Okay.
But we need to know, I think we need to know, have a conversation about the money velocity in this country. I don't know how we're going to serve it up because we don't have that taxation plan. But we need to know the money velocity in this country.
Yep.
And if the government doesn't know, they have just admitted publicly that how illegitimate they really are, because they should know something about what's going on in the country, and I want to know too.
Okay.
Thank you, bye.
Got you. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. A lot of, I was hoping to get Mario on, but a little bit late.
He's probably still listening.
I like a lot of his ideas. He's got good ideas, but the thing that bothers me, O.C., is that so is all of the other politicians. I mean, you know, it seems like they can come up with all of these ideas when election time, you know, comes around. But what I really want the politicians to do, they make up 2 sets of manifestos. One that they can use on the people of this country to get what they want. And then when they get what they want, they take that one now and they tear that up now and they go to the second one now that they intend to go by. Mm-hmm. That is the one I want them to use, not the first one. I want them to they can tear it up, but I want them to use the second manifesto now that they got, because I know they do, right? Because
so it sounds like the accountant who keeps 2 sets of books.
Well, I mean,
one for the tax man and the other one.
Exactly. Yes, to favor him, right? But this is my question. We'll see, who is the minister for the? I think I know who it is, but I'm not 100% sure. For the down in where William gas station is, the Eastern Avenue. Sorry.
That may be MP Joey Hughes' constituency.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Quite possible that. If not, then it may be included in Georgetown Central. Not sure, one or the other.
Okay, my point is, see that road, Eastern Avenue Road, is there for the money that we are paying in taxes, and we have to drive on that. I mean, the most used road on this island right now is Eastern Avenue, right? And look at the condition that is in. I mean, it's a total disgrace, you know? And something needs to be done about that.
It has been repaired several times. The problem is that the road builders need to know the history of that area, and that area was swamp before, so that's why you get all of the waves on it, because they're building on swamp and they're not putting a proper foundation.
Well, don't we have people in place to know that engineers and architects and all of these kind of smart, educated people? I mean, to know these things. I mean, I'm not an educated person. I'm not an engineer. I got a lot of common sense, and I know what it takes when you building on sand and compare to building on rocks.
And swamp is even worse.
And anybody has any common sense know these things. They don't have to be a university graduate or anything like that. It's just a lot of these things are common sense. So apparently these people got a lot of brains, but they don't have the common sense how to do these things in Cayman.
Not only that, you have the technology that can tell you basically what the nature of the underground is as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go far. Everything is right there.
Yeah.
And another point.
Very quickly, because I want to grab one more caller before we go to our next break.
I noticed that in the Prospect area, they're doing some nice pavement of the roads, bamboo, beautifully. I mean, it's like you're driving on ice. It's so smooth, right? And then it goes on Patrick's Avenue, that area which is public also. and they're putting this chip and spray on it. And already, that was yesterday, and this morning now they're trying to repair it again because it's already started to get holes in it.
Yeah.
I mean, does this kind of thing make any sense, Sophie?
Being penny wise and pound foolish.
Do it right and forget about it. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep,
I
agree.
want the second manifesto used for the Caymanian people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're going to try to see if we can accommodate one more caller before 9:45 break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, I guess I'll get 1 minute. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You might get replaced. You better be careful.
I heard about that, but you know.
That's how it is when they can't control you, you know. You gotta replace them for someone else, you know. But I wanted to catch Mario as well too. Nothing personally against him. I just want to say that West Bay is the top line for doing our tours for these visitors when they come on the cruise ship or by air. And to see from day one until now, West Bay is not as upgraded as much as it should be, and then having more activities in the area, because OC, that is where 95% the tours go straight into West Bay. And we have to come across some very ugly things to get to some half decent looking things. And talking about trying to arrange the ships to have less ships on I mean, not to bring in 7 ships a day. I don't agree with that. Need no ships 7 days. I mean 7 ships on one day. But the fact of the matter is, if you even space them out and bring them in on a Saturday and a Sunday, because people who work on Saturday, because some people who work on Sunday. And then again, you hear some people say that they had 15 cruise ships for the week, and I made $1. But that is their problem. You understand?
Yep.
Because if you don't go and work for it, that money not coming to you. You have to get it and work for it, you know, or unless you're going to stay at home wait for a phone call from your people on the cruise ship that coming to meet you personally. But I just want to say I didn't heard Mario full conversation. I just heard the tail end of him when he was leaving out. But I just want to say that for a small island, we need to stop bickering on each other's what he say, what she say. If you want to go and run and make the country better, forget about all of that crap and go and show us what you can do. Not just Mario, all of them. Put all that mess aside and go and work for us and show us that you can do the job better. Because in bringing down you and bringing down me, it makes matters worse. The people here get even more confused. And another thing,
very quickly,
depends on what seat you get in that house. They can promise your people anything out here to a degree. And they need to thank the government and all our past and present government that we are still standing on this island in a still pretty good condition comparing to the rest of the world and all the election crap that goes on throughout the rest of the world. So the governments are doing something.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Something.
Thank you very much for that. I have to go to the commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. We'll only have about 12 minutes left in the show.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's service center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511 or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
Making a dent in traffic congestion is everyone's responsibility. This March 22nd to the 26th, join your community for Car Free Week, a countrywide initiative by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, carpooling, cycling, public transport. Join a park and ride program, or perhaps working from home. Your boss will understand. Visit energy.gov.ky for more information for park and ride options. Take the Car Free Pledge and enter into the raffle. Traffic may stand still, but the Car Free movement is moving ahead. Join your community. Take the pledge March 22nd to the 26th.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts.
April 14th, 2021.
Exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We still have one caller on hold. We're going to make that call the last call for the morning. Before we go to that caller, though, one of our listeners wrote and said, Mr. Mario Ebanks mentioned the cultural driving habits being imported in addition to a quote-unquote cooling off period as he proposes. Why doesn't this extend to all drivers with driver education and not limited to large vehicles? So what the writer is saying, that that cooling off period should extend to all drivers. We need more driver education. I believe we need to have a much stiffer written as well as road driving test. Also, that needs to be done, because it seems as if, based on the policies that we have in place, that we are encouraging more drivers to get to the roads. Those policies include the policy of importation of vehicles, where we have still failed to implement an effective policy that will really and truly restrict the importation of vehicles into the Cayman Islands. And one more thing before I go to that caller as well. There's talk about Caymanians and not being able to afford properties, not being able to afford the price of land. And I had a nice conversation with someone in the know this morning. And I wanted to share that with you. If I'm unable to share it with you this morning, I'm certainly saving it to talk more about it as well, because these policies have a tremendous impact on Cayman and in terms of where we go and the future of the Cayman Islands. It may not be all rosy, the future of the Cayman Islands, depending on which road we decide to travel down. Whether or not we decide to travel down the road that is going to accommodate those who have the financial and economic wherewithal, or whether or not we're going to look at Caymanians first. If any of you have read the UK newspapers, or if you've listened to the news in the UK, we see where the Prime Minister there, Boris Johnson, spoke about the vaccine and the success of it, and he in a way attributes the success of the vaccine to 1, greed, and 2, to capitalism. I hope and I trust that the success of the Cayman Islands in the future will not be dependent on greed, which we see a lot of, and capitalism, which we see a lot of in the Cayman Islands. So those are my editorial comments before we go off the air this morning. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, OC.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah,
You might want to turn your radio down.
Just reflecting back on some of the. Go ahead.
You may want to turn your radio down, please.
Turn it down. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. Just reflecting back on some of the stuff that I heard this morning.
Yes, sir.
And very, very inspiring. Yeah. Yeah, I know, but maybe. And so, I left the island about 10 years ago and up on the brack, and I keep calling there once in a while to pass my little opinions.
Certainly, yes.
One of them was like, for instance, I called in one day and said, the barge they were rough on the Tibbetts corner. That is a hard corner, what I call Blackett corner, and the seas were rolling in there. But up at the other end where the dock was, there was a barge dropping off stuff. So I said to the island, who you think that made that decision of putting that there rather than putting it someplace else?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is this, OC. When I first came up here and I went back down, I seen how that bridge was. The first thing that came to my mind, just like what Mario said, the first thing that came to my mind, in another year or two, you can see that cut right through and come right out to where all of that stuff is being built. Now, nobody can see my mind on that. I don't care who it is. Now, the other thing is, we are there for development. But if we don't want it to look like Miami, when I look on the screen, all I can see is kind of tourist building and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
I am saying, as an uneducated 83-year-old man, looking at see some stuff I see there, I am saying that a better take on the advice from some of the older ones, such as Bill Adams, such as Arch. Remember that hotel that they started washing out the beach down there? I can't remember, right across from Andy's auto car place there on West Bay Road. He told them to stay away from the beach 50 or 60 or 80 feet away. The first said they had what they had into their pool because they're not listening, they're not paying the Caymanian no thing. Somebody else gets the ball to kick, and they keep kicking it, and they keep kicking it. Mm-hmm. Now, when I said the man never did well of what he done,
mm-hmm.
but I see as a little guy with big brain, seeing that at the day that I went over that bridge, I can say the next move he can have, and I keep seeing it. Every time I go down there, I'm disappointed. Every time I go there, that little piece of road that they talk about this morning was something that they could drive and still have and give the natives a chance. Not because you want your $1 million stuff and stuff like that. If I was to say something about that particular person, let me tell you something, it wouldn't be good because I heard a lot, but that is not my business. But what I see happening, somebody is buying into somebody's pocket. Okay. So I just pray and ask the Lord that the eyes be open for those that are running. And let me say, I don't give my no thing, because how would I talk about somebody if they never done something wrong? How can I say OC is a nice man when I don't know who OC is?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's one of those things that we need to get together and take the scripture for it.
Okay.
You say you want to be wise, you hang around wise people.
Yeah.
That's the law. I do that with myself. He said, I want my people to listen to what I have to say because the Lord said, you must do this, you must do that. So that is my foundation this morning. Those that want to speak, let them speak, because we got a funeral. And I can tell you one thing. This little island is blessed beyond blessed. When you look around and when I listen to the news, let me tell you something. This little island is blessed. I hope people realize that because they're God-fearing and all the rest that goes with it. So if whoever listening to me today, just remember, God is still in control, and you always need to listen to what He has to give you in your mind, and keep this little island as best as we can while we can.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. And please stay safe over in the BRAC as well. Very quickly before we close off, there has been talk about a petition that is circulating in relation to this project on 7 Mile beach area and the beach access. And in speaking to someone this morning, they pointed out, for clarification for civil servants, that civil servants are at liberty to sign the this particular petition because the restrictions on civil servants signing petitions are in relation to when the government, when it's a government-led project, that is when civil servants are basically restricted from signing petitions in that regard. And even then, it may be restricted to senior civil servants who may be involved in policy advice or policy implementation or the shaping of policy as well. So even in that regard, the junior level civil servants are simply not prevented from signing the petition as well. The person also pointed out that because of the shortened election period, that shortened period has prevented many issues to be properly ventilated, for questions to be asked, for candidates to provide answers to questions as well. And then to top that off, this person didn't say this, but I'm saying this, to top the shortened period, you have candidates who are ducking the what do we call them again? Having a senior moment here. They're ducking the debates as well. Some members are simply debating their opponents also. So we have a shortened period that limits the what can be discussed, the exposure of candidates, and then with all of that, candidates ducking as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care